The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers. This is the TFfangeek coming to you with a quick video with some announcements. So, as the title of the video, to answer the video title's question, where have I been? What's going on? What announcements are they? So, for the last 2 weeks, I haven't really been able to record any videos, not since I got what was at the time my most recent Transformers action figure purchase, which I probably should have grabbed out to show off again. But I basically got the, let me pause it and get it. Alright, so this was a few weeks ago, my most recent Transformers purchase, when the month of February had just started. Since there's 28 days in the month of February, we are now over halfway over the month. But yeah, I got the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Megatron after seeing nothing but positive reviews about it. I did a video on that already. I got the Takara Tomy version of release of this figure off of Amazon for what I felt was a decent price. It was a much cheaper price than the Hasbro version was going for, so I'm still debating. Right now I'm debating with myself if it's worth the money finding a copy of the Hasbro version for this figure so I can have a version of that Megatron figure to keep in the box, since it's a closed box. But knowing myself, I'll probably open it eventually and save my money for the other upcoming Transformers action figures that have been announced for release in the current year of 2025 when this video is being recorded. So anyways, for those of you wondering why my hair isn't combed and the announcements, it's also where I have been. Basically, the last 2 weeks have been the last month actually has been a little hectic for me. Last month in January, one of my relatives, a cousin who was in his 90s, passed away, and my family went to his funeral and his memorial service. And then just last week, one of my great aunts, who is also in her 90s, fell to the ground, and now she's in the hospital. We don't know how she's doing, so my family's been going there every day since it happened. And I haven't gone yet, but I've been trying to keep busy with house chores here, so that's where basically I've been. And on top of that, work's been stressful. Oh, and of course, I mentioned this on I believe I mentioned this when I showed off Bumblebee movie Megatron, but I also had a cold a week ago. So I was sick for a whole week. I went to work some days and powerhoused my way through work so I wouldn't have to get a doctor's. Didn't have to visit a doctor and have a doctor's note to return to work, because if you're only out for a few days, you technically don't need one where I work. But anyways, it wasn't a severe cold. I didn't have a fever. It was just congestion in my nose, but it was enough that it took a toll on me, and everyone who were at my job could see it. So that also was another reason why I haven't recorded reviews for the last 2 weeks. So anyways, long story short, that's where I've been. A lot of hectic stuff going on, family matters, personal troubles, problems with my health. But hopefully I can get back on track now in the coming days. But anyways, I just wanted to announce to you guys, as of this video's recording, it's February of 2025, and all the Transformers action figures that were released in the Legacy line, as you can see, I tried to point to Legacy Evolution Armada Optimus Prime, who's there behind me. I've got some other Legacy figures. You can see Sandstorm. That's not Sandstorm, that's Death's Head. You can see Sandstorm right there, and then this box all the way over here is the Diaclone version of Twin Twist, which I finally purchased earlier this year when it was announced that we're getting Diaclone Top Spin later this year in the Age of the Primes line in the 2-pack with a new version of Spinister. I'm really excited for that 2-pack, more for the Top Spin figure than I am of Spinister, but I'm sure a lot of people who missed out on Siege Spinister are going to get it to stand beside Legacy Needlenose and the recently released Legacy United Quake. So that's one of the reasons why they did it, was to give everyone a chance to complete the trio of Decepticon Double Target Masters if they didn't already have a Siege Spinister in their collection. action, and then I'm really excited for all the new figures that have been, for most of the new figures that have been announced recently. Gamer Edition Ironhide will be mine. The upcoming Titan class Age of the Primes Star Convoy, I'm excited for that figure. You can't see it from where my head is most of the time, but if I move my head off to this side, I've got the Generation Select Takara Tomy here that's blocked from view, but he's been sitting there for most of the time I've owned him. I still haven't found a proper place for that figure yet, but I will do a size comparison of that figure when the Titan class Star Convoy figure gets released. But anyways, I'm really excited for a lot of the figures in the Age of the Primes line, such as the 13 original Primes. I'm excited for those figures as well. And for those of you wondering about the recently announced HasLab Lio Kaiser Combiner, it's going on right now. I believe it's lasting until the end of March. That you can decide to back Lio Kaiser. Yesterday, Lio Kaiser, after I believe it was a week after he was shown off at I think it was New York Toy Fair, Lio Kaiser was announced he's now up for pre-order right now on Hasbro Pulse. So if you want to get the next HasLab Transformer after Robots in Disguise 2001 Omega Prime, then the next HasLab figure is going to be Transformers Generation 1 Lio Kaiser, and that makes 3 characters from Transformers Victory that have been released as HasLab crowdfunded projects, the first 2 being Victory Saber and Deathsaurus. I got those figures, so for those of you wondering, yes, I did decide to back up Lio Kaiser. I am all excited for that figure. I do have the Combiner Wars Lio Kaiser figure, but it's nowhere near accurate to the original Generation 1 action figures. So yes, I'm really excited for the new Lio Kaiser Combiner. I don't know if the members of Lio Kaiser are Deluxe class or Voyager class, but when Lio Kaiser's all-gray prototype figure was shown off at New York Toy Fair, he stands slightly taller than Deathsaurus, so for those of you who think that HasLab Deathsaurus is huge, then Lio Kaiser is going to be even larger. I believe Lio Kaiser might be the same size, if not bigger, than the upcoming Studio Series 86 Devastator figure, so I think Lio Kaiser might be the same size as the Combiner Wars and the Power of the Combiner Wars Devastator and Power of the Primes Predaking, which were the 2 Titan class combiners, so I think Lio Kaiser might join them in being the 3rd Titan class sized combiner that's been released. So I could be wrong. They could be Deluxes instead of Voyagers, but or they could be in between sizes, because who knows. A lot of people have said that Star Saber, Victory Leo, and Deathsaurus, the other HasLab Transformers, that they're their own unique sizes, and they aren't necessarily part of the size class of Transformers figures. And if they are, then they're old school size Transformers figures. I think Star Saber might be the size of an old school leader class Transformers figure, and then Victory Leo's an old school sized Voyager class. So when they combine into Victory Saber, the reason why I'm leaning over is I can see my copy of HasLab Victory Saber from here, and he stands almost the same height as Legacy Menosaur. So yeah, the HasLab Victory Saber and also Deathsaurus, they've been about the size of Commander class Transformers. Deathsaurus, I believe he's about the same size as Siege Jetfire, so yeah, Commander class sized, so who knows if Lio Kaiser will be Commander class or Titan class. It was announced with Star Convoy that to keep the price tag of Titan class Transformers down from $200 and trying to keep it back, decrease it back down to $150, that Titan class Age of the Prime Star Convoy, or Star Optimus Prime as he's been renamed, will be smaller than the other Titan class Transformers that have been released so far. But I'm hoping Star Convoy will at least be the same size as Combiner Wars Devastator and Power of the Prime's Predaking. The 2 of them together are currently the shortest Titan class Transformers that have ever been released, since Devastator and Predaking both stand 20 inches tall. Most of the Titan class Transformers, such as the 3 we got in the Legacy line, Cybertron Metroplex, Armada Tidal Wave, and G1 Starship Nemesis, along with the other Titan class Transformers before them in the War for Cybertron trilogy, Siege Omega Supreme, Earthrise Scorponok, the Kingdom Arc starship, and of course subsequent repaints of them, such as Black Zarek and the Titan Guardian. Those Titan class Transformers have all stood about 22 inches tall, and then the largest Titans are G1, Thrilling 30, Metroplex, Titans Return Fort Max, Titans Return Trypticon, and their subsequent repaint, such as Grand Maximus. Those Titans are the largest ones that have ever been released, since they stand 24 inches tall. And as I scratch the back of my neck, and itches on my skin, and the weather's been cold and dry around here, and it's the opposite of humid. It's been freezing, so. Out here in California, if you've lived your whole life as I have, your skin dries out in cold weather, so forgive me for sharing that on this video. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that Titan class Transformers, if they're worth buying, I will add them to my collection, regardless of the price. And on that note, one last thing I will share in this video is that I managed to get some old school Transformers action figures off of Amazon. Over the last literally 2 weeks, I was browsing around Amazon looking at Transformers figures I didn't have in my collection. At this point, I'll probably take a break from collecting for the next few weeks until Wave 1 of Age of the Primes gets released. According to Amazon.com and other websites, the street date for the release of Wave 1 of the Transformers Age of the Primes line is May 1st of this year, 2025. The fourth and final wave of the Legacy United line. It's been found in sparse releases, so a lot of fans and collectors are concerned that since it's a tail end wave, that retailers will bypass as the final wave of Legacy and go straight into Wave 1 of Age of the Primes. So who knows if they will do that or not, but there's a 50-50 chance that either before the month of February ends, when retailers restock on Transformers Generations figures, it'll either be the last wave of the Legacy line, or it'll be re-releases of previous waves of Legacy that didn't sell yet. And what that could result in is that it could either keep the street date for Wave 1 of Age of the Primes to the month of May, or if retailers are eager to get the next line of Transformers action figures in stock, then the street date, the month when Age of the Primes will get released, could be moved up from May either to April or March. We'll see in the coming weeks what happens. But regardless, I decided to get some Transformers action figures in my Transformers collection that I had the chance to get in the past, but I missed it because I didn't have the money at the time. But these are some Transformers action figures that I was eager to get into my Transformers collection. And they're all released around the same time. They were released. 3 of them were released during the same line of Transformers action figures, and then the 4th one was released the following year. But without further delay, here is my most recent haul of Transformers action figures, courtesy of Amazon.com. So bringing the figures out from smallest to largest in size. The first 3 Transformers figures are from the first live-action movie 2007 line of Transformers action figures. And so, after these were released in 2008 during age, so it's been 17 years since these figures came along. But without further delay, here I have finally added to my Transformers collection the Transformers 2007 Movie 1, Decepticon Jolt, and Autobot Grindcore. So yeah, these figures were both repaints of figures that were released in the Transformers Cybertron line. Cybertron had officially ended in 2006, but since Transformers Animated wasn't going to air on television until 2008, Hasbro decided throughout the year 2007 to they asked Cartoon. I don't know if this is true or not. This is just me speculating, but throughout the year 2007, the Transformers Cybertron cartoon continued to air in reruns on Cartoon Network here in the United States. And just to use the Cybertron on action figures one more time before retiring them all Hasbro decided during the 2007 movie One line to repaint a majority of the figures from the Transformers Cybertron line and release them in the live-action movie line as Movieverse Transformers characters, and some of the names and characters that were used in this first line from 2007 were characters that would be used in later films, and so that's why when you try to look for these action figures on the internet, you have to be really specific, otherwise you could end up looking for other action figures entirely. That's the case here with 2007 movie 1 Decepticon Jolt, who's a repaint of Cybertron Crosswise. Some of the figures that were released in the 2007 movie 1 line that were repaints of Transformers Cybertron action figures, they're fairly easy to find because the names of them haven't been used since these figures were released. Grindcore. And so Grindcore is one example of a figure that can be fairly easy to find, and if you look for him on the internet. He's a repaint of Cybertron Landmine. And yeah, I really wanted to get him back in 2008 when he was released at East for the first time. And these figures that are repaints of the Cybertron line, as you probably already glimpsed it, these were sold exclusively at Walmart. And on that note, back in 2008, when Transformers action figures were sold exclusively at retail stores, they had stickers placed on them to show you that it's only available at this store, it's not available elsewhere. That's because at the time, in addition to Walmart and Target, you also still had at Target and Toys R Us out there competing for Transformers exclusives. And unlike the exclusive Transformers action figures that are sold today, which are sold in boxed sets, so you get more than just one action figure inside of them. Some of the exclusives back then were individual releases, and they weren't they didn't have campaign logos or anything that tie them to one specific store, such as the trying to point to it, the Target store Optimus Prime figure that I have back here. So yeah, that was just something that existed throughout the late 2000s and early 2010. And just that exclusive Transformers had stickers placed on the boxes to show you that where they were being exclusively sold at. And that was true for all the Transformers action figures that came out in the 2007 movie 1 line. And along with Grindcore and Jolt, that's where this third figure from the movie 1 line that I finally got to add to my Transformers collection was. It was released as an exclusive, and it was this guy. This is the Transformers 2007 movie 1 All-Spark Power. That was the gimmick for the line of 2007 movie 1 Transformers released in 2008, All-Spark Power. So here is Voyager-class Decepticon Mudflap. And yeah, he's a straight-up repaint of Transformers Cybertron Mudflap. Unlike the Cybertron Mudflap, which was done in mostly light blue with charcoal gray highlights, this one is done in bright, vibrant yellow with white highlights. So yeah, 2007 movie 1 Mudflap, he's a really eye-catching Transformers figure if your eyes are sensitive to bright highlighter yellow and pure white. Alright, so yeah, I'm really thrilled to finally have this figure here. Most of the Voyager-class Transformers figures from the 2007 movie 1 line that were repaints of Cybertron figures, there were a handful of them, but there were enough that the store that managed to get the rights to the larger 2007 movie 1 figures that were Cybertron figure repaints they were sold exclusively at Toys R Us here in the United States when Toys R Us was still going on strong here in America. So that was America. And on that note, the stickers were all unique for each store. That was the exclusive sticker for Toys R Us, and here's the one for Walmart. The ones for Kmart and Target weren't as large as these were. They were a little smaller. But yeah, that sticker was there to show you that you can only get this here at Toys R Us. You couldn't get it at Walmart, Target, or Kmart back in 2008. So that's a callback to a bygone era. And flipping the box around again, other things that are callbacks to things that aren't on Transformers boxes anymore. You've got a full paragraph bio explaining who the character is. You've got tech specs listing their strengths and weaknesses. And then, of course, you've got the figures released in the same wave that are available available on the back of the box in addition to being on the bottom of the box as well. So other figures that were available at the same time Mudflap was released was 2007 Movie 1 Inferno, who was a repaint of Armada Red Alert. He and Mudflap, I believe, were the final 2007 Movie 1 Voyager class Transformers that were released exclusively at Toys R Us. And then you've got two mass retail figures here on the bottom of the box. You've got Voyager class First Strike Optimus Prime, which is basically the 2007 Movie 1 Optimus Prime figure done in his Generation 1 colors. There's more so in alt mode than robot mode. And then, of course, you've got Evac, who is the Autobot repaint of Blackout. But yeah, really nice to have Mudflap here. The main reason I got him along with Jolt and Grindcore was to try and increase the number of Transformers action figures in my Shatterglass collection. Up there I've got Shatterglass Megatron, Optimus Prime, and Starscream hanging out. See, I just wanted to increase the number of Shatterglass Transformers I have in my collection. And on that note, Grindcore in the Transformers Timelines comic books, he actually is the Shattered Glass version of Scoop. So, yeah, he's one of the figures that doubles as a Shattered Glass character. And so here on the back, for other figures advertised here that were also available for retail at the time, the three on the left here were Walmart exclusives along with Grindcore. Jolt, who I have here, was there as well. Then you also had Autobot Big Daddy, who was based on the Micromaster that we got in the Siege line in 2019. And then you'll have Dive Bomb, who was a repaint of Cybertron Thundercracker. Big Daddy was a repaint of Cybertron Downshift. And then you had mass retail figures such as Overcast and Jungle Bone Crusher, which was green Bone Crusher, if you will. I did find Big Daddy and Dive Bomb also selling on Amazon.com, but unlike Grindcore and Jolt, well, the prices that they were going for were a little outrageous, too outrageous for my price. And of course, here on Jolt's box, you've got same lineup of action figures, only instead of himself, there's Grindcore in the exact same spot. So yeah, Grindcore, Jolt, and along with Big Daddy and Dive Bomb, they were the first. They were the first four figures out of, I believe, 7 figures that were deluxe class figures that were released exclusively at Walmart in the 2007 Movie 1 line. 6 of them were repaints of Cybertron figures. Wave 2 had Crankcase, who was a purple repaint of Cybertron Red Alert. Breakaway, who was a mostly white repaint of Cybertron Hotshot. And then the 7th figure was actually a repaint of Classics Mirage, and that was Fracture, who was based on the GoBots character of Crasher. So she remains one of the most sought-after figures from the 2007 Movie 1 line, since for years she was the only modern action figure of Crasher from the GoBots that was out there on the market. But as my voice is failing me and the video's gone on much longer than I wanted to wrap things up, the 4th and final Transformers figure I purchased, which will probably be the last figure I purchased for the month of February, it is this guy. This is the Transformers Universe Classics 25th Anniversary Autobot Overload. So yeah, the 25th anniversary of the Transformers franchise back in 2009. It was celebrated by having Transformers action figures released in the Universe Classics line have this part of the silver chrome celebratory decal on the boxes. Most of the figures released in the Universe Classics line for the 25th anniversary in 2009, they were hard to find because retailers didn't have them on the shelves for long. And even though they lasted during the first, I want to say, roughly 4 months of the year 2009 before they disappeared from store shelves, retailers are basically eager to get the Revenge of the Fallen line in stock. Okay, and I believe Overload, along with his Wave Mate, which was the slightly more sought after figure of that line, which was one of the figures pictured here on the bottom of the box, Transformers Universe Inferno, and also Vector Prime. They were 2 of the figures that were available at the same time that Overload was. They made up the final wave of Voyager class figures in the Transformers Universe Classics 25th anniversary line, and since they were tail-end figures, they became extremely rare and hard to find. I myself never saw Overload at any retail store where I lived back in 2009. And I thought of getting him a couple of times in the past, but he is finally here, so that's pretty great. Apparently on the Transformers Wikipedia for some time, because he has the same name as the character of Overload from Transformers Armada, this was supposed to be the G1 version of Armada Overload, but actually no, it shows here on the bottom of the box. I'm being stupid, but apparently it wasn't Armada Overload. After some time, Hasbro clarified that it's actually the Cybertron version of Overload. So yeah, it's basically Armada Overload upgraded into a Cybertron body is what it is. So yeah, this is Overload. This is Cybertron series Overload, so I apologize for all that babbling I did, but yeah, this is Armada Overload upgraded into a new Cybertron form. So he abandoned his Armada, the form he had in Transformers Armada, where he was a predominantly red and black Autobot who looked like G1 Ultra Magnus, and he upgraded into a new body, which is basically the figure that he's repainted from, which is the Transformers Cybertron Cyber Defense Scattershot action figure. This is actually one of two uses of the Cybertron Cyber Defense Scattershot figure that were released in the Transformers Universe line the year before in 2008. This mold was also used to make a Decepticon action figure of a character named Dropshot. I did have Dropshot, and I recently wanted to get him and add him to my collection as well, to join my Shattered Glass Decepticons. And I did have Dropshot for some time, but when I went looking for him last weekend and around my Transformers collection, I couldn't find him anywhere. And so I think Dropshot might have been one of the Transformers action figures that I sold off when I had to downsize my Transformers collection several years ago, since I didn't have too much emotional attachment to him, and I thought his color scheme looked a little bland, being mostly tan and desert brown. And I haven't been able to find Dropshot at a decent price on the internet yet, but I did find Overload out here, and even though he's an Autobot instead of a Decepticon, I figured, why not at least get another version of this mold and add it to my collection. I still have a lot of the original Transformers Cybertron action figures, which is why I went for these repaints of them that were released back in 2007 and 2008. Just like the 2007 movie 1 line, for the Transformers Universe Classics line, a lot of the figures from the Cybertron line were repainted and released as new figures and characters as well. It's actually easier to list off the Cybertron action figures that weren't repainted, either for the 2007 movie 1 or the Transformers Universe Classics lines versus ones that were. Or I want to say about between 3/4 to 4/5 of the action figures in the Cybertron line were repainted in 2007 and 2008 and 2009. After the Cybertron online officially ended. But yeah, this has been my video with my announcements and my most recent Transformers action figure purchases. I don't know if I'm going to make video reviews of these 4 Transformers action figures I've brought out, since they're older vintage Transformers, and most Transformers, most people on YouTube aren't interested in. They're interested in like the older Generation 1 Transformers action figures from the 80s, and the latest Transformers action figures that are being released at the present time. But for ones that were released during the late 2000s, I don't know if there's much interest for those. So let me know down in the comment section if you'd like to see me review these Transformers figures I most recently added to my collection. 2007 movie 1. Action 2007 movie 1 Jolt, Grindcore, or Mudflap, and Transformers Universe Classics Overload. Let me know if you'd like to see video reviews of these action figures or not. So until next time, you guys, this has been the TFfangeek. Hopefully I'll get my next review out soon. but I wanted to announce my return with this video, so thank you guys all so much. Thank you to all my subscribers for your continued support, and until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.